future doctors, welcome back to the BioNexus, your one-step destination for mastering NEET Biology. In today's video, we are diving into the top 50 most important MCQs that are frequently asked in NEET. These questions are handpicked based on previous year trends, NCERT focus, and high-yield topics. So, don't miss a single one. Also, if you are looking for chapter-wise MCQ practice, check out our dedicated videos. The links are in the description below. Now, grab your notebook, stay focused, and let's boost your score together. Question number 1. Reflex action is controlled by option B, spinal cord. Depending on the type of action, if it's a reflex, that is a quick and involuntary response, the correct answer is option B, spinal cord. And if it's a voluntary conscious action, then the answer will be brain. Main excretory product in humans. The primary nitrogenous waste in humans is urea. So here the answer will be option A, urea. So it is formed in the liver during the urea cycle, which is also called ornithine cycle, by breaking down excess amino acids or proteins. It's water soluble. Urea is water soluble and less toxic than ammonia. Eliminated mainly through the urinary system. And coming to the next one option, this is ammonia. Ammonia is also one of the nitrogenous waste. So it is excreted mainly by aquatic animals like fish through a process called ammonotelism. The main excretory product in case of birds, reptiles and insects is uric acid, so they are also called uricotelic organisms. Universal donor blood group is O negative. So O negative blood group has no A or B antigens on the RBCs, so there is no RH antigen as well. That's why it's called RH negative. Because of the absence of all antigens, O negative blood does not trigger an immune response in recipients with other blood types. It can be safely given to any blood groups in emergencies, especially when blood typing is not available. And you all will be knowing about the universal recipient, right? It is AB positive. They can receive blood from anyone. Oxygen binds to hemoglobin at option B, alveoli. Oxygen binds to hemoglobin in the alveoli of the lungs, where oxygen concentration is high. This oxygenated blood is then transported to tissues and cells throughout the body. Bile helps in digestion of. Right answer is option B, fats. Bile helps in the digestion of fats by emulsifying them, breaking large fat globules into smaller droplets, making it easier for enzymes like lipase to act. It does not digest proteins or carbohydrates directly. Hormone promoting cell elongation is auxin. So auxin is the primary hormone that promotes cell elongation, especially in the stem and root tips. It does so by loosening cell wall, allowing the cells to expand and grow. End product of aerobic respiration is. The right answer is option B, carbon dioxide and water. So here is the equation for that. End product of aerobic respiration are carbon dioxide, water and ATP, produced when glucose is broken down in the presence of oxygen. Oxygen in photosynthesis comes from. This is an important question. During photosynthesis, oxygen is released by splitting of water. Okay, so this is known as photolysis. In the presence of light, not from carbon dioxide. So water gets splitted up and it forms the oxygen. Synapsis occurs during zygote. Synapsis is the process where homologous chromosomes pair tightly side by side, forming bivalence. This occurs during the zygote stage of prophase 1 in meiosis. So what is left out in? That is the first stage of prophase 1, where chromosomes start condensing and become visible as thin threads. And in case of packaging, crossing over. In case of packaging, crossing over or exchange of genetic material occurs. What about diakinesis? That's the final stage of prophase 1. Chiasmata or points of crossing over are visible as chromosomes get ready to align for separation. An example of disaccharide is sucrose. So here glucose, fructose and galactose, they are all monosaccharides. Prokaryotic ribosome is of 70S. It's composed of 70S. So in case of prokaryotic ribosomes, there is a small subunit, the 30S subunit, and a large one, the 50S subunit. So here S stands for Swedberg unit. It is a measure of sedimentation rate during centrifugation. Which of the following shows closed circulatory system? Right answer is earthworm. In a closed circulatory system, the blood is confined to vessels like arteries, veins, and capillaries. So in case of earthworm, the blood flows through well-defined vessels and contains hemoglobin dissolved in plasma, not in RBCs. Whereas in case of open circulatory system, the blood or hemolymph is not confined to vessels and flows freely in the body cavity. It's known as hemocoel, which bathes all the organs directly. Cockroach, butterfly, grasshopper, these all are arthropods, so they have an open circulatory system. Hemolymph is pumped by a tubular heart into body cavities. Montreal Protocol was signed to control. Right answer here is ozone depletion. It was signed on September 16, 1987. So that's why September 16 is considered as Ozone Day. And it came into force on January 1, 1989. The aim of this protocol was to phase out production and consumption of CFC, that is chlorofluorocarbons, halogens, and other chemicals responsible for ozone layer depletion. Eutrophication is caused by. So, what is eutrophication? It's the phenomenon in which a water body becomes overly enriched with nutrients, leading to algal blooms and oxygen depletion. So you can remember like eutrophication equal to excess urea or fertilizers, leading to nutrient overload, leading to algal bloom, and finally there will be oxygen loss. So here the right answer will be excess of nutrients. It is caused by excess of nutrients and it leads to algal bloom. The most biodiversity rich biome is tropical rainforest. Why tropical rainforest? Because it's found near the equator. For example, the Amazon, Congo, Southeast Asia, etc. We can find tropical rainforest. Warm temperatures and high rainfall year-round. Dense vegetation, layered canopies, stable climate which supports millions of species of plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms. India is among the 17 mega biodiversity countries. India accounts for about 7 to 8% of the world's recorded species. It is home to over 45,000 species of plants and more than 90,000 species of animals. And there are 4 biodiversity hotspots: the Himalayas, Indo-Burma, Western Ghats, and the Sundarland or Nicobar Islands. Energy flow in an ecosystem is unidirectional. See, energy flow in an ecosystem is unidirectional. The flow of energy in the ecosystem is unidirectional. Energy captured by autotrophs does not revert back to the solar input. This is the statement as per NCERT. Another thing, cyclic flow can be observed in nutrient flow. The type of population growth represented by S-shaped curve is logistic. The S-shaped curve, which is also known as the sigmoid curve, it describes logistic growth where population growth is rapid at first, when resources are abundant, slows down as the resources become limited and levels off at the carrying capacity. What is carrying capacity? It refers to, right answer here is maximum population a habitat can support. So in NCERT, there is a statement, the carrying capacity is the maximum number of individuals of a population that the environment can support, and it is denoted by the letter K. Bt cotton is resistant to. Bt cotton is a genetically modified plant that contains a gene from Bacillus thuringiensis to protect the plant from bollworm infestation. Scientists inserted a gene from Bt that codes for cry proteins toxic to specific insect larvae. The specific insect larvae here is Lepidopteran larvae. When pests consume Bt cotton, cry toxin binds to their gut lining, leading to gut cell burst and the insect dies. So Bt cotton is resistant to insect pest. The first recombinant DNA was developed by, right answer here is option A, Stanley Cohen and Herbert Boyer. So they developed the recombinant DNA technology in 1973, successfully combined DNA from two different species and inserted it into bacteria, demonstrating gene cloning. This was the foundation of genetic engineering. So who was Werner Arber? He was a Swiss microbiologist. He is awarded the Nobel Prize for discovery of restriction enzymes. So restriction enzymes are also known as molecular scissors. That's another important point. Carey Mullis you will be knowing for invention of what technique? Can you please write in the comment box? Carey Mullis is famous for what? He has invented a famous technique which is commonly used nowadays and what it is known as. Coming to Paul Berg, his work was more focused on recombinant DNA molecule construction, but Cohen and Boyer advanced it to cloning in bacteria. So here, Stanley Cohen and Herbert Boyer will be the right answer. Restriction enzymes cut DNA at specific sites. The specific recognition sites are called palindromic sequences. Restriction enzymes, which are also called restriction endonucleases, recognize specific short sequences, usually 4 to 8 base pairs in DNA. These sequences are palindromic, meaning the sequence reads the same forwards and backwards on complementary strands. Which microbe is used in alcohol production? Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So it's a species of yeast commonly used in ethanol fermentation and making bread. During fermentation, yeast converts sugar into ethanol and carbon dioxide. This process is used to make alcoholic beverages like beer, wine, and spirits. Artificial insemination involves, it's obvious, transfer of semen. Which disease is caused by Plasmodium? So right answer is malaria. Plasmodium is a genus of protozoan parasites. It causes malaria, a serious and sometimes fatal disease, transmitted to humans by the bite of infected female Anopheles mosquitoes. It is female Anopheles mosquitoes. Major species causing malaria in humans are Plasmodium falciparum, the most severe one, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, and Plasmodium malariae. Fossils are important in evolution. Which enzyme removes RNA primer during DNA replication? It is DNA polymerase 1. DNA polymerase 1 has a special activity called 5' 3' exonuclease activity that removes RNA primers. The transforming principle was discovered by Griffith. In 1928, Frederick Griffith conducted experiments with Streptococcus pneumoniae bacteria. He discovered that a transforming principle could transfer genetic information from dead virulent bacteria to live non-virulent bacteria, making them virulent. This was the first evidence that DNA might be the genetic material. Mendel's law of segregation is also called law of purity of gametes. So, law of purity of gametes means that during formation of gametes, the eggs and sperm, the two alleles for a gene separate so that each gamete carries only one allele. This explains how offspring inherit one allele from each parent. Which device is intrauterine? Right answer here is copper T. See, there is a figure shown here. Copper T is an intrauterine device which is inserted. Site of fertilization in human female. It is the fallopian tube. This is the fallopian tube. To be more specific, the site of fertilization is ampullary isthmic junction. Double fertilization involves two male gametes. So it's a unique process that occurs in angiosperms or flowering plants. One male gamete fertilizes the egg cell, forms a diploid zygote. The other male gamete fuses with two polar nuclei in the central cell, forms a triploid, that is 3N, primary endosperm nucleus, which nourishes the developing embryo. Asexual reproduction is common in unicellular organisms. Most abundant protein in animal world is collagen. Mesosomes are structures in prokaryotes. So what are mesosomes? Mesosomes are extensions of the plasma membrane into the cell which help in cell wall formation, DNA replication and distribution to daughter cells. This is the statement given in NCERT. Mesosomes are infoldings of the plasma membrane found in prokaryotic cells like bacteria. Which tissue helps in photosynthesis in plants? It is parenchyma. Specifically, it is chlorenchyma. So, chlorenchyma is a type of parenchyma tissue that contains chloroplast, the organelle is responsible for photosynthesis, found mainly in mesophyll cells of leaves. Which connective tissue connects muscles to bones? So, it is the tendon. So, muscle is attached to a bone through tendon. A compound leaf differs from a simple leaf in absence of axillary bud. Here we have the figures of simple leaf and compound leaf. In simple leaf, there is an axillary bud here. So the leaf blade is undivided and an axillary bud is present at the base of the leaf. But in case of compound leaves, the leaf is divided into leaflets, but axillary buds are present only at the base of the whole compound leaf, not at the base of individual leaflets. Therefore, absence of axillary buds at the base of leaflets helps to distinguish compound leaf from a simple leaf. Which is a modification of stem? Right answer is tendril of cucumber. In cucumber, the tendrils are modified stems used for climbing. These stem tendrils arise from the axil of a leaf or from terminal buds. Can you give some other examples of stem modifications? Please write down in the comment box. So, write down some other stem modification examples. Radial symmetry is found in Cnidaria. Radial symmetry means the body can be divided into equal halves by any longitudinal plane passing through the central axis. So, Cnidarians, for example, hydra, jellyfish, sea anemones, they exhibit radial symmetry. This symmetry is advantageous for sessile or free-floating animals, allowing them to interact with the environment from all sides. So, we will go to the other options as well. Mollusca, it shows mostly bilateral symmetry. Example, snail, octopus. Annelida, that also shows bilateral symmetry. Example, earthworm. Arthropoda also shows bilateral symmetry. Insects and crustaceans. Which of these animals shows metameric segmentation? Right answer is earthworm. Metameric segmentation refers to the body being divided into repeated segments called metameres. Earthworms, which comes under phylum Annelida, shows true metamerism with both internal and external segmentation. So what about tapeworm? Tapeworm has got pseudo-segmentation. That is not true metamerism. And roundworm or ascaris, they do not have any segmentation. Hydra, unsegmented. They are radially symmetrical. Double fertilization is unique to angiosperms, we already discussed. Bryophytes are also known as amphibians of plant kingdom. So bryophytes, under which comes mosses, liverworts, etc., they are called amphibians of the plant kingdom because they live on land but require water for sexual reproduction. The flagellated sperm swim in water to reach the egg. This is similar to how amphibians in the animal kingdom live on land but need water for reproduction. So that's why bryophytes are called amphibians of plant kingdom. Mycoplasma differs from other prokaryotes in having no cell wall. The five kingdom classification was proposed by R.H. Whittaker. Which kingdom includes unicellular prokaryotic organisms? Monera. ICZN stands for International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature was proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. Which of the following is not a defining feature of living organisms? The right answer here is memory. According to NCERT Class 11, Biology, Chapter 1, The Living World, the defining features of living organisms include growth, that is, increase in mass and number of cells, reproduction, production of progeny similar to parents, metabolism, all biochemical reactions within an organism, cellular organization, living organisms are made of cells, and consciousness, ability to respond to stimuli. Consciousness is considered the most complex and defining feature, especially in human beings. Why not memory? Memory is not considered a universal feature of all living organisms. Only certain higher animals, especially vertebrates, exhibit memory. Hence, it is not a fundamental criterion to define life. So here, the question is not a defining feature. So here the answer will be memory. Moving to the last question. Menstrual cycle is regulated by gonadotrophins, FSH and LH. The menstrual cycle is controlled by hypothalamus pituitary ovarian axis. The two important gonadotrophins released by anterior pituitary, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, stimulates follicle development in the ovary, and LH, luteinizing hormone, triggers ovulation and helps maintain the corpus luteum. And that wraps up our top 50 MCQs for NEET Biology. I hope you found this session helpful and confidence boosting. For more in-depth practice, do not forget to explore our chapter-wise MCQ series. Links are right there in the description. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the BioNexus, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new update. Share your score in the comments and let me know which chapter or topic you would like us to cover next. Keep revising, keep practicing. Your NEET dream is just a question away. Thanks a lot.